say, say sort of, I suppose, more sort of dramatic things, so I'm going to speak English. So in the 1970s, we had a revolution which no one remembers. I'm not talking about political upheaval, actually. I'm talking about the attempt by 3 young artists, Bruce Gaston, Danu Handrakudin, and myself, to forge a new artistic fusion between the Western and Asian musical traditions. It was a revolution that we all thought had failed miserably. The public didn't come to our concerts. The Department of Fine Arts was so annoyed that they hid the piano on the opening night of the concert so we couldn't use it. The Thai press panned us, and all 3 of us got really burned out in many ways. And I myself, in fact, gave up music completely and ran away to America to become a writer. But 20 years later, on a family visit to Thailand, I realized that this revolution had actually secretly succeeded while we weren't looking. Everywhere we looked, whether it was a beer commercial or a movie, any kind of popular culture, Thai traditional music had infiltrated every platform that was formerly considered Western. The revolution had been such a success that no one even remembered that there was once a need for a revolution. And this is when I realized that not every revolution is loud and thunderous. The most successful revolutions are actually invisible. And this is really why I came back to Thailand. Having gone out there and achieved a measure of personal success in the West, it was time to go on an inner journey and to discover the deepest sources of identity. That's why becoming a monk in my middle age was actually the beginning of this path, because I learned something that is not actually taught at all in Western culture. You see, when I was studying how to be a composer in the West, I was taught that the world exists in time, and that I was standing on a kind of ladder. Here I was, and I was receiving the wisdom of the composers who had come before me, people like Boulez and Stockhausen. In turn, they were receiving their wisdom from the Romantics, and then the Romantics were receiving their wisdom through Beethoven, through Mozart, all the way back to the Baroque era. So time was like a straight line, and a line which was only supposed to go in one direction. In the monastery, I learned that time was not just a straight line in one direction, but it was also a circle. That Mozart and Monteverdi and Stockhausen and Stravinsky were equally close to me. I could turn in every direction on the circle, and every lesson that I could learn was equally accessible. This changed my entire outlook on culture, history, and art. And this is a perception of reality, which is a lesson that we in Thailand have to contribute to the culture of the world. So since the first quiet revolution, I've been privileged to have participated in a number of other revolutions. One important one, I suppose, one of the reasons I am being honored, is the foundation of Opera Siam and the 65 productions, which have now caused Thailand to be viewed in the world classical music press as the operatic hub of Southeast Asia, although people in Thailand don't seem to know this yet. But an even more important revolution I've been happy to help bring about is getting young Thai artists to where they are seen by the global music community, and most importantly, by themselves as peers. My approach has been very simple. It's to focus entirely on the question, why, while believing that the young themselves, with the help of Thailand's fine music teachers, will be able to figure out how. So, when I was a child, on the rare occasions, because I was living in Europe, on the rare occasions when we could see Thai artists in the West, the audience reaction was something like, oh, how cute. These little brown people can actually play our music. Well, we've come quite a way since then. There was a time when we all believed the propaganda, that we thought that the West was a magic cornucopia of knowledge that would somehow get us to a better, more sophisticated place. But things are different now. Classical music And this is true of many other art forms, like film, television. It's an immense treasure chest that we have inherited. But this treasure is as much ours as it is theirs. We have things to say that are new and exciting. And when I take our young orchestra to Europe or America to perform, the audience isn't viewing our kids like a bunch of monkeys like in the old days. They see real artists with a real vision to contribute. We are no longer here just to learn from the West. We are also here to teach. In just a few days, I'm going to reach my 6th cycle birthday. And I'm beginning to think about what must happen when I'm not around anymore. So that's why I'm establishing new initiatives, new plans that will involve the artists of the future, setting up an infrastructure so that the adventure can continue into the next centuries. I sincerely hope to involve my co-winners and all of my friends who are here this evening in these projects, because I do believe that it's now time for Thailand to lead. Thank you very much.